Alrighty, what do we got going on today? Oh yeah, baby. This is what I'm talking about. Hey everybody, Steve here from The Varied Life. You can check that out over here. Actually, it's on YouTube. And kind of a little interesting announcement with my Ecamm streaming live stuff that we got going on, which normally posts towards Facebook. I just found out I can live stream and paste this stuff on YouTube as well. So it's live on YouTube. So yeah, old guy learns new tricks. With that being said, today's got some interesting news that I've run across, and it's something that I've been waiting for. I've been wanting to get into 3D resin printing for some time. I've gotten into resin printing, and I've done a number of models. You can see stuff like this where dude is just like crazy, and I've done a number of other figures. Here's another one in the midst of painting. The problem with 3D printing is you print stuff and you end up having a hard time like painting. This is the most recent print, which is a little bit of a kit bash thing, but this dude is freaking incredible. Yeah, that's going to be crazy to print this guy. So that's with resin printing. I've been wanting to get into FDM printing, and I've been holding off. Some of the companies that I've been looking towards were Creality, Prusa, what was some other ones? Bambu, FL Sun, and unfortunately, I've had to cross off two off the list. One of those being Creality because their K1C that they were advertising with their all-metal extruder. It ends up that, yeah, it wasn't all metal, it was all plastic. So the claims of 1,000 clog-free hours, where are we? And then they just kind of ghosted everybody. They changed it on their website and never gave any reason or emails or text or anything to anybody about, hey, oops, we made a mistake in printing or, doing the translation from Chinese to English, my bad. Yeah, they didn't do that. Creality just straight up lied, and there was a lot of problems with that. But if you look on the Amazon page for Creality, you'll find that the K1C is still advertised with an all-metal extruder. This was brought out by reviewers whom Creality sent machines to. And the reason I was interested in the K1C is that because its next one coming out is the K2 Plus, which is a large style printer. I know I'm kind of rambling, but we're getting there. I got to give you some background. So that led me to the K2 Plus, then the K1C, and then I found out the problems that they were having with lying. I don't know. It just doesn't rub me the right way. So I kind of crossed Creality off my list. Then I saw FL Sun, and they had a large scale Delta style printer. Lo and behold, I was super excited about that, except they exaggerated their claims in regards to build area, total build volume, Clipper. It's supposed to be Clipper, but it's more like the Bud Light version of Clipper. There's a lot of things that you can't do. Dimensional accuracy is having problems, and I know it's a new printer along with their T1. And they're like, oh, you get comments from people that are supporting FL Sun that are strangely similar across the board, accounts that, yeah, they're kind of new or they don't reply very once in a blue moon. So in other words, they're bots. High possibility of that. Not saying that they are, but they're saying, oh, a company that pushes the bounds, with a large scale and so fast and blah, 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 flow rate of 110. Yeah, you got to expect some bumps in the road. And it's like, no, I would expect that from a new company to have problems when they release, a first or second generation machine, and they're still working through the kinks of having the hardware and the software come together to meld for an awesome user experience. Yeah, we're finding out that's not the case. And so I crossed off FL Sun. So with this right here, Bambu is coming out with a large scale or a large build area 3D printer, and they're making it. Matter of fact, they're even testing it. So we're going to go over some information here. This is what we're looking at, not Subway. Anyway, Bambu teases multicolor 3D printer plans for larger devices in recent Ask Me Anything. For those older people who don't know, AMA means Ask Me Anything. This was back in May 2nd, 2024 this year, and they went through and they talked about some other stuff here, a larger machine. It's interesting because in May they said, Bambu Lab said no, and then blah, 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 blah. But then later on, someone asked whether the flagship 3D printer, the X1C, could be superseded by a larger machine. In other words, a machine with a larger build area, more bells and whistles. Bambu Lab didn't say anything specific other than we're working on it. So yeah, you know that they're going to be working on it. And that is only the logical progression of Bambu dominating the market. Now, I'm not a Bambu fanboy. You know, there's Prusa and there's other companies that have awesome and incredible products. But Bambu seems to be the one that is pushing the bounds for a printer that can come out of the box and, 15, 30 minutes later, you can be printing. Yeah, it's not like the days of old where people would buy a 3D printer and then they spend more time tweaking and upgrading and fixing and dialing in than printing. Now we're getting to the place of where even amidst all of these different variables of PLA and humidity and bed temperatures and enclosures and this and that and the whole nine yards, bed leveling and auto input shaping, to make things go faster. A ton of variables, they are pushing the bounds for basically a microwave where you put something in, hit the button, ding, it's done, with minimal user interaction with it. You put your model in, you print it, that's what they're pushing for, and they're doing really well. So an interesting thing that pops up is in this article here, Bambu Lab's bigger 3D printer is in testing, coming out in 2024. Now, this is July 23rd. Today is, the 26th, so it's only a few days away. Co-founder Huayu Sprite Liu spoke to All3DP briefly about Bambu Lab's next bigger product in the works. So anyway, they didn't say anything at a recent trade show. Everybody's asking for a bigger printer, so we had to work on it. Yes, I knew this was going to happen. It was just a matter of time. So that's why I've been holding off on wanting to buy a 3D printer, because I want a good printer that works out of the box with minimal input from me, and I don't have to tweak it a lot. Plug and play, let's do it with a larger build area. We know that people have higher expectations, so we just want to make a bigger one. We won't, in other words, they don't want to make one that's just big. We want to bring more innovation to our next model. That is awesome. That is what we're talking about here, as opposed to other companies that push out products and Gigastorm. Remember the Elegoo thing, the monstrosity printer that would have like 4 build plates put together, and it's like, seriously, you're putting out a monster printer, but you can't have one big entire build plate. You got to have like 4. Once I saw that and some of the other problems about it, I was just like, yeah, that's gonna go out into left field, and it's going to take a lot of work. It just wasn't set up right. It was just a lot of problems. But Bambu wants to bring more innovation to our next model. They plan on they're not planning, but they're making a large 3D printer. Isn't exactly news. We talked about this. In a recent AMA, they asked the question, and yeah, they're working on it. Testing is a long and tedious process. We need to make sure all the features and the performances are reliable, sustainable, and easy to fix. This is what I'm talking about here. I really like Bambu Labs, and even though they release machines, and any 3D company is going to release a machine, and there's going to be firmware updates. There's not going to be a perfect machine like a microwave where you just set it on the counter, plug it in, boom, ding, it's done. Because of all the variables that are involved. But what I like about Bambu is that they are pushing the envelope as are other companies like Prusa and some others, very few, that are really pushing for that end use where you minimize the amount that a new person, has to get their hands dirty and they can get good, reliable prints. Bambu isn't willing to go into more detail about it, but confirmed it will have an enclosed frame. So we're looking at something similar, I would say, to the Bambu X1C, where the build plate is larger, it's enclosed, you'll be able to print a lot of different materials, PETG and all the other letters, 4-letter acronym, whatever. Couldn't answer questions about the system's kinetics at this time. However, the final results it seems to be an approachable system. Lou spoke to Bambu Lab's overarching goal to make 3D printers more accessible to the general public. Again, this is very important, very different than companies that are just pushing out machines and trying to do firmware upgrades and try to fix things, and next thing you know, oh, well, the bed's warped, so we got to replace this or that. And Bambu has had their share of some problems with the recent recalls. I think it was the A1 Mini or the A1, whatever it was. It ends up that the power cord didn't have enough strain relief, and so it was causing problems, so they did a big recall. They handled that absolutely awesome. I mean, should it got caught before it went out to the public? Yes, but they did the responsible thing, and as soon as they found out, they're working on it, and boom, and it's like, hey, here's some fixes. You do it yourself, or you can send it back in and whatever. So they fixed the problems. They sent emails to everybody. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. Kind of the opposite of Creality about lying about the all-metal extruder and FL Sun, and their total build height of their S1 is 430, when in actuality it's really 380, 385, and the flow rate is not 110, but somewhere lower, because you can request 110, but what you actually get out on the other side is not 110 flow rate. Or the full speed is, lots of problems with FL Sun right now. That whole thing. But anyway, let's get off of that. The technical knowledge requirements still act as a barrier to 3D printing. Even the X1C is one step better, but we still have a lot of obstacles. So things need to improve to ensure people with no background can do this. This is very important. In my opinion, when we're talking about 3D printing and we're talking about getting something and getting more people involved, in other words, selling more products, you have this competitive marketplace. And you're going to have people in the market that are just going to push out products with so-so software, with so-so results. It's got a bigger build area, it's got this or that, but you're going to have some tweaks and you're going to have some problems. Bambu is going to that next level, and I really appreciate that. So anyway, we set up some simple tools for users to create their own models based on an AI algorithm. Lou says the new Maker Lab experiments are ongoing and couldn't share much in the way of details, but did say that more tools in the AI direction is in the mix. Now that's kind of interesting, because not only are they coming out with a larger scale or larger build area printer, they're also recently did a drop on a huge Bambu Studio update back in, May, I think it was? I think it was May. Yeah, May 15th, which wasn't too long ago. Had more than 80 updates, improvements, and bug fixes that work to boost print quality, streamline print processes, and more. So you can read about that. But this is an example of a company that is pushing and making things better. So in other words, they're trying to corner the market. They wanted to make it easy for people to print. They also want to appeal to the experienced 3D printers that can get in there and tinker and upgrade and do all the great things that, more experienced people do. People that are hobbyists, people that are just like, hey, I want to print some stuff out for my kids or for my office or whatever, or just as a hobby. All the way to the point of where you have people that are doing 3D printing as a side gig, and even to those who are doing full-time jobs with print farms. So anyway, it talks about some other things here, but precise Z height function and UI tweaks and notifications. They are pushing the boundaries. And then their parametric model maker brings open SCAD to MakerWorld. So in other words, they're kind of pushing the envelope for an open CAD program like thing to where you can import your model or a model that they have on their MakerWorld site, and then you can tweak and move and adjust. Eventually, I think what we'll end up seeing is Bambu coming out with a CAD program similar to Tinkercad or Blender, but not as with not such a huge learning curve. In other words, it's going to be user friendly. That is where I think that they're going to go. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting how they're working on a number of things and they're putting the money into it. That is the thing. But the big news is this right here, where they're coming out with a large style printer in 2024, which is right around the corner. So we're talking about Q3, Q4. I'm thinking probably the fourth quarter of this year we will see something. As they're going through testing now, yeah. And it seems that Bambu learns the lessons and applies those things to future products and endeavors. It's very, as opposed to some companies who put out a printer and then they race to, the customers end up being beta testers. They end up doing the testing for the company when the company actually should have been doing it to begin with. So in other words, they're operating bare bones. And yes, I understand new companies, don't have the huge budget as some other large companies that are, part of the big three or whatever. But with that said, there needs to be a line between having a good product to go out to the public versus sending out a so-so product and rushing it to market and letting the customers being the beta testers and technicians and so on and so forth. Recently, I saw some posts of a person who he ended up getting a printer and FO's done. And he got his printer, and also there's another guy with Creality. I can't remember the printer that he had. But anyway, it ends up that these people and others from, reading various blogs and interwebs and social medias, that the companies want you to be the technician. And we see this with resin printing, we see it with 3D printing, FDM printing, and saying, hey, well, my machine, it delivered, it was a brick, or it worked for a little bit, then it bricked out, and then the company is like, well, here, put in this new motherboard, here, put in this, and solder this in, and do this, and it's like, whoa, Johnny, when I buy a microwave, I don't want to be a microwave technician. I want the microwave to plug in and work. And yeah, I can set some settings. I can do the clock. I can, I want a minute 30 for my bagel or whatever. But I don't want to have to get into the board and replace this and tweak that. And that's not my job. That is not what I purchased a product to do. Now, some people really enjoy that. And in the old days of 3D printing, you spent a lot of time tweaking, and people enjoyed that stuff. I have some electronics background as an electronics technician for the state of Colorado, so I know a little bit about this stuff, and I've repaired stuff and radios and TVs and security cameras and DVR systems and stun fences and PTZ cameras that were automatically hooked up, checking out the yard of prisons and other facilities. So I get it. But most people don't want to be a technician. Most people don't even know what a soldering iron is or what flux is. They don't have the tools to take apart and get to a motherboard. It's just all Greek to them. And they don't want to spend the time dealing with that frustration. I'm amazed that I was reading back a while ago, there was a gentleman who got a printer, and I can't remember what printer in what company, but he told the company, this is what's going on, and it's not working. So back and forth emails. He ends up, they said, well, hey, do this, this, and this. And it's like, I'm not a programmer. I don't know how to change code. I don't know how to get into the nether regions of the programming and just change this and that. And it's like, I'm not a coder. I'm not a programmer. That's not my thing. And asking him to do all these things that a technician should do on a repair bench. It's kind of like you're pushing that onto the consumer, and that shouldn't be the case with what we're talking about here. So yeah, with 3D printing, we need to get to a place of where, kind of like Bambu and Prusa and so on and so forth, Prusa, you can get the kit and you can build it yourself. There's Vorons and stuff like that, where you can build and assemble and have intimate knowledge of your 3D printer, and that's absolutely fine. But on the other side of the coin, there's people that are buying printers that want to print and not be a technician. That they get no enjoyment from being hunched over and scratching their head. Excuse me. I have clump. So it's just odd that these people don't get any enjoyment from tweaking and upgrading and all of the stuff that comes with technician-like stuff. So Bambu has recognized that along with some other companies, and you can either build or buy a system. You have your choice, so that's awesome. But yeah, the majority of people don't want to get under the hood. It's kind of like a car. They buy a car, they put the gas in it, they go and get the oil change, whatever it is. They don't want to hook up test and diagnostic equipment. They don't want to replace the air sensor, the O2 sensor, and things like that. They want to print. That's it. That's all they want to do. So yeah, anyway, it ends up that I'm really excited about Bambu coming out with a bigger 3D printer, and I've been holding off because I want a large area build plate with kind of like the X1C but on steroids, or with like the only problem with Prusa and the XL is that it's a large bed area, which is great, but it's slow and it's too expensive, and it's kind of one step forward, two steps back in regards to speed and some other things that companies like Bambu has. You see what I'm saying? So Bambu and any other company that can pivot and put themselves into a position to provide good quality prints with decent speed, with great customer service, large build area, some good specs, and make it easier on the end user, those are the companies that are going to dominate the market. And again, you just have to look at Elegoo with their Gigastorm, and yeah, everybody was so excited about that. But when I saw that, and it's like, yeah, I'm not. There's no way that is going to take the world by storm. So with Bambu, I think what is going to take the world by storm, or at least the 3D printer market, is that if you have a build area, because their X1C is like 256 squared or 256 cubed for their printer. That's kind of small. So I'm thinking probably somewhere 350, 400, something that could take on the Prusa XL, something that can compete against Creality and its K2 Plus, which has a larger print build area. And if they can do that with what the X1C can do now and add more technological advancements and make it even better, wow, they are positioning themselves they're going to rake in the dough. Unlike other companies like Creality and FL Sun. FL Sun they really piss me off, especially when people do in-depth reviews and show that there's problems with dimensionality, there's problem with profiles, there's problem with, and so they're trying to catch up. And the fact that FL Sun didn't go into multi-material printing system and release that at the same time with their S1 or their T1 just shows that they aren't looking down the road. They had problems with the S1 that they're still trying to recover from a lot. And now they're pushing out the T1, and there's reviews coming out on the T1 showing numerous problems. So now you have two things on the market that they're pushing at us, and they're one step forward, two steps back. That's not the way to do business, in my opinion. So I'm really looking forward to Bambu in the large-scale printer. Definitely looking forward to what they have in regards to the new technology. The fact that they are doing a lot of testing before they release is awesome, because they're not treating you as a technician. It's almost like being, I hate it. Here's the things that I hate in life. I hate unpaid interns. Not the people that do those jobs, but the companies that hire an unpaid intern so you can get your foot in the door, you're getting free labor. Or church volunteers, you're volunteering so the church doesn't have to pay money to do something that obviously has a dollar cost amount to it. They're pushing it off to somebody else to get it for free. The same thing with 3D printers. We should not be beta testers. We should not be technicians. It is what it is. With that being said, for example, with the upcoming Uniformation GK3, their GK2 resin printer, I'm into resin printing, obviously. I have the Saturn III Ultra. Uniformation is taking their printers and they're taking that technical side of the house, this is the other side of the coin, and saying, well, if you need to replace the screen, you undo these screws, lift it up, unplug the cable, put in the new screen, plug in the cable, put it down, your screws, boom, and you're good to go. No longer is it this, you have to disassemble the entire machine, you have to remove the this and the that, and it's really complicated. They're making it user-friendly. So there's that. Even though I don't want to be a technician, I understand that screens and some parts of resin and 3D printing are consumable items, kind of like hot ends on machines and so on and so forth, Bowden tubes and all of that. So yes, I understand that there's a consumable aspect to 3D printing, resin or FDM, but in the way that it's easier on the user versus trying to force a user to be a technician. So yeah, that's what we got going on here. I thought it was really interesting. It is coming to life. And like I said, I would rather buy once, cry once, and wait until a product is verified that it comes out and works. And I've done this with Creality, the K1C, K2 Plus, which is, yeah, they're off my list. FL Sun, I was super excited about them, but when we're getting so many reviews about, yeah, this just really isn't working well, I just can't trust them anymore. So with that, I do have hope for Bambu for this larger build area system. And what do you think? I mean, do you think this is going to be a good thing? What do you think the build area is going to be on this new Bambu large-scale printer? I'm going to say 350 to 400. I'm going to give myself a range because we see with the, let me see if I can pull that up, Prusa XL. Let me see. Dun, 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 dun. And the Prusa XL, is that a 300? Why am I getting this in like this weird language? I don't know. Prusa XL. Because the build area on that, what is it, like 300, 350? Dun, dun, dun. Build volume of 36 centimeters, so 360. So that's big. So I think, in my opinion, which doesn't really mean anything, is I think that with Prusa, for Bambu to go head-to-head with Prusa, and what they end up having is the 360 cubed build area, they're going to either be the same or they're going to go bigger. So if you're looking at something that's 400, that's why I say 350 to 400. You go to 400 and you can still do a lot of small prints, and then you can also do larger prints. Yeah, people are going to jump all over that, and it depends on how you market this. So with the large scale printer from Bambu, that is going to be the thing. That's what I think. What do you think? What do you think the build area is going to be for this new printer? Do you think it'll be a single head? Do you think it'll be a multi-head print system, kind of like the Prusa XL? What bells and whistles do you think that Bambu is going to put into this? I'd really like to hear that. So anyway, that's what we got going on. I'm holding out for Bambu. I have deep hopes. like I had with FL Sun, but my hopes were dashed, and so I am heartbroken, yes. But maybe Bambu can feel that hurt and that pain and heal me when it comes to FDM printing and large-scale stuff. Now, is this printer going to be for everybody? Absolutely not. There's people that are absolutely happy with the A1 or the A1 Mini, and it fulfills all their needs. So it really depends on what your needs are. For me personally, I want to do small stuff, but in case I want to do big stuff, I want to be able to do big stuff. Excuse me. So yeah, there's that. It's a possibility. I want to do those things, and I want to get all the bells and whistles. Am I going to print in nylon, carbon fiber, steel reinforced spider web, Superman, kryptonite, filament? Probably not. But if it's included with the printer and it's one of the capabilities, it's nice to know I have that in the toolbox in case I get a wild hair up my ass and it's something that I want to print. Probably not, but you never know. And so that's why I'm of this buy once, cry once. I would rather get a large scale printer, and if it could do great smaller 3D prints, then I'm all for it. And if I want to do a big thing every once in a while, there you go. I have the capabilities of doing that. Yeah. So anyway, that's I'm just kind of rambling now, but I thought that was interesting information. So definitely look out for Q3, Q4 this year. And it's already, my gosh, what is it? It's 26 July. It might be 25 July where you're at because I'm retired here in Korea. But yeah, you got August, September, October, November, December. So basically we're just past the mid-year point. So yeah, Q3, Q4, probably Q4 is I'm kind of guessing. Push it out for the holidays. Yeah. And even then, I think I'll wait until, that would be awesome to be a tester, for them to send me a machine. And that's something I want to do, is to be able to test machines. So if any company is out there and you're looking for a tester, somebody who's new to FDM printing but has some experience, I know I'm not easy to look at, but yeah, I could help. So anyway, with that, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that as we do more information about 3D printing, resin printing, miniature painting, being retired overseas, some fitness stuff every once in a while. And being the best version of you that you can be in the 3D printing world. Does that sound cheesy? I think that sounds cheesy. So if you have any other information, I really appreciate the community, because on the resin printing side of the house, so many of you have helped me become a better resin printer, a better painter. So any tips, suggestions, websites, links, playlists, news updates, please put that in the comment section and let me know, because yeah, I'm not that smart. I'm only as smart as the people I hang around with. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Okay, with that said, I need to get ready and go to the gym, so we'll see you on the next video. Peace. Yeah, looking forward to it.